Welcome back to my channel. How's it going? If you're new here and you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so down below. I would really appreciate that. Also, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and turn on the notification bell down below next to the subscribe button if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. So today's video is going to be a kind of recreation of Lili Reinhart's makeup look that she wore to the Golden Globes just the other day. I was so obsessed with this makeup look when I saw it on her, and I noticed a lot of other people were as well. So I thought I would go ahead and recreate it. I really love Lili. I've watched Riverdale for a long time and I follow her on all her social media. It's kind of fitting that I did this because I just did a Lucy Hale inspired makeup tutorial on my channel recently, and I really love her as well. I follow them both on Instagram, and I just, for some reason, love both of them. And I know I did just do a celebrity inspired makeup tutorial, but I really wanted to do this because it's a very specific look, and it's for the Golden Globes, and I love Lili. So I really hope I came kind of close to replicating her look. If you guys want to see how I got this makeup look, then just keep on watching. Alright guys, so since this is a more warm red toned look, we're going to do the eyes first just so that we can wipe away any fallout and nothing gets really messy. So to prime my eyes, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer. This is kind of like a more clear toned primer with like a little tint of color to it. It doesn't add a ton, but it does add some color, just like a tint to the eyelids. Kind of helps even it out. So I'm just going to apply this with my fingers. And then since this is a more sticky kind of tacky base, I'm just going to set that with powder to make sure that the eyeshadows blend really well on top. And I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me pressed powder in 120 Classic Ivory. This is just going to even everything out a little bit more as well. I'm just going to take this brush. Been around for a while, this probably won't be a surprise, but I'm going to use the Jaclyn Hill palette. Honestly, I just have like the perfect shades for this look in this palette, which is the case a lot of the time. This palette just has everything. So I'm going to start out with a more like transition shade, more neutral. I'm going to go in with this shade right here. This is Butter, and this shade is just more kind of warm and has the right tone for this look. So we're just going to take that shade. I'm going to take a big fluffy blending brush, and I'm just going to kind of put this everywhere in the crease and bring it down on the lid even a little bit because I want it to be really blown out. Once that's blended out well, I'm going to take the shade Roxanne on the same brush, and that's the shade right here. This kind of reddish, deeper tone, but it isn't as intense or red as the other red shades in this palette. It's more toned down. So I'm going to go in with this one first, and I'm just going to be a little more precise. I am going to put this in the crease and then bring it down on my lid as well, but I want to be a little more precise with it. So I'm just going to take the brush and I'm going to start applying it into like the lower crease area. And onto the lid as well. And then I'm just taking a clean blending brush, like a really fluffy one, and I'm just blending out all those edges so that we don't have any harsh lines there. And I'm just like, as I'm blending this out, just kind of like dragging that out lightly on the corner. Obviously not going to do too much, but it's just going to make sure that it's a little bit more of an elongated look versus super round. And then when I blended that out really well, I do like to kind of blend as I go. I don't want to just like wait till the end and then try to blend everything, because even though that does work a little bit, it just works the best and gives you the most blended effect when you're blending really, really well in between each eyeshadow and each step. So now we're just going to take a little bit of a smaller blending brush, not too much difference, just a little bit more precise, and we're going to go in with the shade Hunts. and that is this shade right here. It's a little bit more of a brighter red. This one down here is Roxanne that we just used, and then this one is Hunt. I'm just gonna take that on that blending brush, just a small amount, and I'm gonna start putting that directly into the crease. I'm gonna try not to bring it up too high. We just want it to be a little bit brighter there because I did notice that the red's a little bit more bright and not quite as like muted and toned down in certain parts. And then obviously it's a little darker on the outer corner. Just taking that blending brush from earlier and further blending out the edges. Now we're gonna move on and take a more precise kind of flat brush. I don't know if you can tell, but this is a lot more like a paddle kind of shape or flat shader brush, but it's really fluffy, so I can definitely use it for the outer corners. And I'm gonna take the darkest kind of red shade in this palette, and that one is called Jax, and it's this one right here. I think I'm gonna mix it with just a little bit of Chip, and that's one of the dark brown shades in this palette. It's this one right here. It's just a nice basic deep brown, not too cool or too warm. Just kind of dipping into those shades back and forth a little bit. I'm just gonna start applying this to the outer crease and bringing it down on the lash line. Brought down on the lash line here, but then it's also like in the outer crease area. And then just brought up a little bit into the crease, blending that out kind of like a V shape again. I think we're gonna go in onto the lid with the shade Firework, and it's this shade right here. It's kind of like a reddish shimmer shade, so it does look like she does have a little bit of shimmer on her lower lash line and then maybe on the lid in the center close to the lash line. It's nothing too intense, and it's more so on the lower lash line, but I feel like there is some on the lid. So I'm just gonna take that same flat kind of fluffy brush and just dip the end in there. And I'm just gonna apply this right in the center of the lid, keeping it on like the lower lid, blending it up a little bit, but we don't want it to go into the crease because it's very subtle. I'm gonna take a wipe now and clean up underneath, but I wanna make sure it's not gonna be too harsh of a line there. I wanna keep that really soft there on the edge. I'm just cleaning up underneath the eyes and then bringing it out a little bit. I'm now gonna prime the rest of my face for the base. She definitely had a more natural finish. It was definitely dewy a little bit like on the high points of her face, but it was kind of a natural finish everywhere else. It wasn't overly dewy and it definitely wasn't matte. But it was kind of like a medium coverage, I would say, unless she just has really great skin. So we're gonna try to kind of stick as close to what she has as possible. And to prime, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate Balm. Just keep it kind of simple and a little bit moisturizing. I've already done my skincare, of course, before this video. So we're just gonna kind of paint this all over the face. Just kind of blend this out with the fingers. For foundation, I'm going to be using the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir foundation. This is in the shade 725 Buff Beige, and I am going to sheer it out a little bit with the Smashbox primerizer, just because I don't want it to be like super full coverage or anything. I'm just going to add that onto the back of my hand and mix it together. I'm just going to go straight in with my beauty blender, start applying this all over the face. I will warn you, if you don't already have this foundation, it does have kind of a strong scent. So just kind of remember that. It definitely does fade, at least for me. Alright, so that did turn out a little bit more light coverage than medium, which I didn't expect it to sheer out quite that much, but I don't think I'm going to go in with another layer. I'm just going to try to spot conceal, just because I feel like that works really well with my skin. I just prefer that the best anyways. I'm just going to take a little brush, kind of like a flat shader brush, and I'm going to use the Maybelline Master Conceal Concealer. This is in the shade Light Medium 30, and I'm just going to squeeze some of this out onto the brush because it is a squeezy tube. Just apply it kind of on the areas where I feel like I need a little bit of extra coverage. Got a little bit of scarring on my forehead. Got a pimple right there. And then once I applied it, I'm just going to blend it out with my sponge. also going to be using the same concealer and brush for my under eyes, so I'm just going to apply some of that under there. Alright, I'm going to set that immediately with that same Fit Me powder and my Real Technique sponge. I just really prefer this for setting underneath the eyes. I'm just going to dip straight in there. Now I'm not going to set the rest of my face, but I do find that bringing the powder down just right here on my cheeks, underneath the eyes, for some reason just gives that like really poreless effect. Since that's where most of us have pores that are more visible, it really kind of smooths that area and makes it look really poreless. We're going to move on to the lower lash line now, and I'm just going to go straight in and mix the two shades Hunts and Roxanne together. Those are like the first two reddish shades. We use this one and then this one right here. I'm just gonna mix those two together on a nice kind of flat but still fluffy brush. And I'm just gonna start blending that onto the lower lash line. Trying to be precise. I want it to be blown out, but I don't want it to come down like too far. I'm then gonna be taking that dark red shade Jax right here and just applying that very closely to the outer part of the lower lash line. And then lastly, I'm going to take the shimmer shade Crayon Apple right here all the way on the end. I'm going to apply that kind of all over the lower lash line because I could tell that she has like a shimmer kind of topper that was just all over her lower lash line. I'm just taking another brush and I'm going to blend really well under there just so that's really buffed out. Just making sure that there's no fallout under there. I'm just going over with a clean brush. And now that like the eyeshadow is all done, we're gonna move on to the rest of the face, and I'm gonna start by bronzing. I definitely noticed that the rest of her face was very minimal in the sense that she didn't have a lot of bronzer or blush on. It was very subtle. Because the focus was, like you could tell, mainly on her eyes. So I'm going to be using a cream bronzer. I'm going to use the Milk Makeup Cream Bronzer in Baked. I really like this one. You guys know, if you're not new here, you've heard me talk about it a lot on my channel. This is just a really great, super blendable, not too harsh cream bronzer. And you can build it up or keep it really subtle. So I'm just going to apply it in the normal places, in the cheekbone area, and then a little bit on the forehead, and then we'll add just a little bit to the sides of the nose. I'm just going to take my e.l.f. stipple brush as usual and really blend that and buff it out. Going in with some blush. I'm going to try to keep it pretty light on the cheeks, but I am going to go with a little bit of a deeper blush. This is Mellow Wine by Wet n Wild. This is one of their Color Icon blushes. I've mentioned these before on my channel and they're really good, really blendable, and super pigmented, so I am going to go in with a really light hand. This is just a really pretty shade, and I think if I use a light hand, it'll look really good with this look, but I'm just going to tap in there like lightly, like barely to start. I'm just going to kind of feather this onto the cheeks. And again, the blush was just not super noticeable on her cheeks. It was just really kind of light, just a little bit of color. So I don't want to go too crazy with that. So now we're going to move on. We're going to do a little bit of highlighting. I'm going to use my Essence Pure Nude highlighter and be my highlight. So I'm going to go with kind of like a big fluffy brush. This is kind of tapered, but it's bigger than like a traditional highlight brush. And I'm just going to kind of dip my brush in there, run it over the top, and I'm going to kind of put this everywhere, like on my forehead here, kind of just where I saw that she had highlight, because it's really subtle and her highlight wasn't too intense. But then when I go over my cheekbones, I'm going to apply a different highlight, so it's just a little bit more noticeable and just a little bit more bright and shiny, but still nothing too crazy. Again, I'm just kind of putting this everywhere. This is beautiful as a highlight on its own, but it is very natural and subtle, so it's not going to be like a visible highlight really. unless you apply like a ton. And then I'm just going to take my Morphe highlighting brush. This is the M510, and I'm going to take some Becca Opal highlight, and I'm going to apply this just to like the tops of my cheekbones and then maybe a little bit on the tip of the nose. I don't want to put this everywhere because it is a little bit more intense, but it's still very natural looking. I'm just making sure that's really blended out. Her brows look really subtle in the pictures. They're not too filled in or anything crazy. They look super natural. She does have blonde brows, so I probably won't be able to get them that light, but I can definitely be minimal with the way I'm filling them in. And I just ran my L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper through my brows really quickly, and it just adds a nice tint, really subtle. But then I'm taking my Precisely My Brow Pencil by Benefit, and I'm literally just like super lightly adding this to the brows. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit in the front because my brows are super sparse right here in the front, and then maybe a little bit on the arch area, just because I have no arch whatsoever. Still keeping it super natural. And then just taking a spoolie to lightly run through those. Kind of brush them up so they're not too defined. So we're gonna curl our lashes now and add a bunch of mascara. I'm not doing falsies. It doesn't really look like she has falsies on, and I don't usually wear false lashes that much anyway. I'm gonna use my L'Oreal Voluminous Original Mascara in Blackest Black. So I'm just gonna start packing this on. I also applied mascara to the lower lashes, but it's really hard for me to do that on camera, so I just kind of did it really quickly off camera. And then since I forgot to do it earlier, I'm gonna take that Opal highlight and apply it to the inner corners as like my inner corner highlight. Not too much, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna actually use the Essence highlighter as a brow bone highlight, just because this is a lot more subtle. I don't really like an intense brow bone highlight, so I just prefer something a little bit more subtle. I just really love how the eyes are like the main focus in this look. They are definitely kind of statement and bright, nothing too crazy, but the skin is definitely really toned down. Like the rest of the face is a lot more subtle and natural, and then the eyes are like the focus, and I just think that really stands out and looks so pretty. So for the lips, there's really not much to them. It literally just looks like she's wearing a clear gloss. It doesn't even really look like she has like any lip liner on or anything like that, but I do kind of have thin lips, so I'm just gonna apply a little bit of like a nude neutral lip liner, just very lightly to the outer part, and then I'll apply the gloss. This is just really subtle. I'm not applying a lot, and I'm definitely not overlining or anything like that. I'm just going to take the Maybelline Shine Shot Clear Gloss, and I'm going to apply this kind of thinly to the lips. I don't want to apply too much. And then just for like the tiniest bit of sparkle, I'm going to take the Fenty Gloss Bomb in the original Fenty Glow shade, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of this on top. It does look like there was a little bit of shimmer maybe, like very mild, just like to the center there. Alright guys, so that's it. I don't think I'm going to apply a setting spray. I just don't really feel like it needs it. I'm actually going to change and kind of do my hair the way she had hers, just for a little bit more of that vibe for the outro. And then you guys will have also seen that in the intro. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, so that completes this video. I don't have anything like what she was wearing, but I didn't really want to wear a turtleneck either. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really like how this look turned out. I know I say that a lot, but I feel like I did pretty good as far as similarity, especially with the skin. I'm kind of impressed with this like satin natural finish that it has, and I just feel like it looks really good. I need to try using that foundation more often mixed with a moisturizer or primerizer like that, because I just really love how it turned out. So like I said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so down below and join the fam. Honestly, it would mean so much to me if you guys subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Turn on that notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!